Hi class, so I'm going to show you how to complete your journal entry for Thursday. Remember, you can complete your journal entry ahead of time, but I have scheduled it out for you Thursday. That's just my suggestion for when you should complete this. I've given you an extra day to complete your work, but you do have Friday off, so I suggest you finish all of your work on Thursday and then you can enjoy your long weekend. So if you go to Google Classroom, you will find the directions for this assignment. Make sure you always read the directions because I write down everything you need to know. And if I still think you'll be confused after you read the directions, that's when I record a video for you. So you guys are doing great. If you've already watched the video, you can see in your weekly work plan, which is typically the first document you look at every week, it tells you to watch this video. And then you can see the actual prompts. However, if you go to this assignment in Google Classroom, you'll also find the prompts there. So if you click on it, it gives you 3 prompts to choose from. You just choose one and you respond to it in your reading writing notebook that you started last week. It says turn in your journal when you're finished to get feedback. I will return those to you and then you will have those in your Google Drive. So I just want to point out a few things about this slide before I show you how to upload your reading writing notebook. This is the date that I've assigned to you that response. Slide 3 refers to what slide in your reading writing notebook I will be grading. I will go to your slide 3, and that is where I should find your response to one of these prompts. If you click on this one and go to the next slide, you'll see last week. So the most recent slide will always be first, but if you need to go back and actually look at what the prompt was from last week, you can always do that. And then in where it says assignment, this is where you find the directions. So it says click on the journal prompts to see what to write about. We just did that. Then make sure you're writing in the same journal you started last week. So this is where it gets kind of tricky because I cannot put your journal in here for you. I would love to be able to do that, but unfortunately I cannot. This journal actually lives in your Google Drive now because you opened it in Google Classroom. So it made that document in your Google Drive, and you will have to find it this time. So if you can't find it, go back to your assignment from last week, and you will find it there, and then you will be able to open it back up again. So if you found your journal, then you would be able to click it and open it again so you could see it. But this should be in your Google Drive as well. If for some reason it is not in your Google Drive, then you can email me and I can help you along through this process, but you should be able to find it there. So I went to my Google Drive and I typed in Miss Cottrell's notebook because that's what I named it. Remember, I asked you to name it a specific thing, which is your name's notebook. So you should be able to type that in your Google Drive and find it. So go ahead and do that. I found mine. Mine is right here. If I click on it, that takes me to my notebook and I can see my response from last time. Make sure that this is the right version. You'll know it's the right version because you have your response from last week. All of your writing that I will assign to you will be in this notebook. So it'll be in one place, which will be really helpful later in the year when we are choosing pieces to work on to expand into full works. So it says that you will work on slide 3. Last week we did slide 2. And then how you upload it, once you're done with your response, this is from one of the classes that I have been in, then you go up here to your work and you should see that it has been assigned to you. And this will not be there because your reading writing notebook does not live in that assignment. It lives in your Google Drive. You go to add or create. Then once you're there, you can go to Google Drive and find it. So again, I will type in the way that I found it, which is actually my most recent, so I could just click that. Or I could go to my main notebook and try to find it that way, which is, again, the first thing that pops up. So I would choose that and hit insert, and then I would hit turn in. You need to make sure you turn it in because otherwise I'm going to assume you're not done. And that it's going to be turned in late, which would mean that you would lose points. So make sure you turn in your assignment. And then lastly, I'm going to show you how you can actually add a new response here and just some features of the notebook. And this is the last thing we need to go over. So last week you had one of these notebook pages. For some reason, you don't after the first one. I'm not sure why that is. And there's no text box either. So you're going to have to create your own text box. And the way that you do that is you go up to this icon right here that says text box. You click on it and you make your text box. Then you can make a heading. Like you could put the date, or you could put the actual journal prompt, which is right here. So you could actually put the journal prompt in your notebook. But you don't have to. It's up to you how you want to do your heading. I think it's a good idea to put the response unless you directly reference it in your piece. And then you will actually go ahead and type your piece. So you can make it a little bit bigger so you can see it, and you can change the font. Just make sure it's something that can be easily read. This one's my favorite. Then I would probably make it a little bit bigger than that so I can actually read it. And then you can always make it smaller if you run out of room. And then, just so you understand a little bit about why this notebook is set up this way, I'm going to quickly show you some features. So right here, if you click chapter 1, it takes you to chapter 1. Chapter 1 is going to be our narrative unit. So this is your first entry. If you click on it again, it takes you to your second entry. And this will be the other writing that we do in our narrative unit. And then chapter 2 will be for our next unit. So I just wanted to show you, this also takes you back, and the other way takes you forward. So those are just some features I wanted to point out to you. That will become helpful later on when we are actually revising the pieces that we write in our notebook. All right, I think that's everything you need to know. I apologize, it's a little confusing because you have to find your own journal in your Google Drive, but I just could not think of an easier way to do this. So I thought I would record a video to help you guys out a little bit. So if you run into any problems, the best thing to do is to come to my office hours because I can share my screen and actually walk you through it step by step. But make sure that you read all the directions before you reach out to me because I try to write down everything that you need to know. But I can also take questions during class if you wanted to just write a question during class so that you remember it and I will answer it there. All right, thank you guys so much. Have a great morning, evening, or night, and I will talk to you soon.